Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this was unexpectedly fun, right? It was unexpectedly fun. This is a, it's not the top 10, is it? Top 10? It's a list of 10 deleted scenes, and they're all, I knew about some of them, but they're all basically very, very interesting. I nearly said brilliant. Are they brilliant? Some of them are brilliant, right? Some of them are brilliant, some of them are fascinating. I was joined by Dan Hadley from the Spacebook halfway through this the stream. This is from a live stream. I live stream most nights. I'm going to be live streaming 5 nights a week, I think, from this week on. I'm not sure. I was doing 7 live streams a week, and boy, was that wiping me out. It really, genuinely was. So I think they're going to cut it down to 5, but there'll be fresh content every day. There'll be, if I'm not live streaming, there'll be a pre-recorded video as a live stream. So you can catch me on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Twitter. Basically, everything other than YouTube is much better than me, for me, right? Rumble and Twitter, much, much better for me than YouTube. Will Elon Musk win the battle of Twitter? I've really got to look into that whole thing. Like, I haven't followed up the story about having the Daily Wire had their movie, What Is a Woman's, like sabotage, spiked, throttled, whatever, and then Elon Musk came in. So that's a whole fascinating story, but I digress. Like, share, subscribe, comment, head over to Rumble. Rumble is awesome. Rumble is the best for me. So head over there, subscribe to me there. Thank you very much. Comment, let me know what you think. Genuinely do. I will, I'm just in the middle of replying to a bunch of comments from the last few days. You know, it's nice to, like, keep a rapport, which is kind of that's kind of the lifeblood of this type of broadcasting, right? You have a genuine rapport with the audience, even if you hate me. I guess that's the rapport, right? Like, share, subscribe, comment. Those things are fan-freaking-tastic. As I said, I was joined by Dan Hadley on the space, but go look in the video notes. You'll find a link to his channel. And definitely subscribe to him on Rumble. You need to get like a bunch of subscribers before you can live stream on there, which is really what you need to do. So you have, yeah, Dan, in the video notes, you got his channel, you got my channel, you got my links to everything, baby. My links to everything, and you want to link to me in every way possible. Oh, she cried. I went there, baby. Yes, like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things are fan-freaking-tastic. This, as I said, this was on a live stream a couple of days ago. So let me head over to me from a couple of days ago. 10 Doctor Who deleted scenes you need to see. Oh, I need it. I need it, baby. Need it good. Right. Doctor Who general an ungodly amount of deleted scenes. Well, not really. Only in the modern era. While we don't have the exact figure, the amount of footage filmed in the then never used number of thousands of hours stemming from, yeah, okay, fine, blah 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 blah. We've rounded up some of the best, funniest, most heartwarming. Okay, let's start with season 2. All the cuteness. Okay, what is all the cuteness? Hearts, or in the hearts of many Whovians. One true romance was Rose Tyler. You know what? I hate to say this. I'm really warming up to the Rose Tyler 10th Doctor romance. Right? I think it's like, this is something that took him by shock. It was a result of the post-traumatic stress from the Time War. It was like back and like finding equilibrium. Right? I wouldn't like to see him do it often, right? But I think for this time it really worked. She was the only one who was able to pull him out of the despair of the Time War, who literally broke into the heart of time itself to rescue him. In Rose Tyler's final story as regular companion, she and her intergalactic best as ever, Bay have a boat, have to save the Earth from both Cybermen and Daleks. Yes, I recall. It was quite good. They said, actually, you know what? More Daleks. The Cybermen should have done a bit better, right? They succeeded, but at the cost of a relationship to the poignant goodbye, which we would have been even harder to watch had we had this sequence kept in. Nothing spectacular happened. Spectacular. It's just two of them walking around, holding hands, and generally being adorable. The chemistry. Let's have a look at it. 1 second. Video file. Man, was I on the money about like SJW probably SJW was the wrong word now, isn't it? Are the people from the like, there we go. Hopefully this is the right one. I think so. You could use a bit of music, couldn't it? I mean, I could put some music on it. Okay, it just started there.
Yeah. It's kind of brilliant, really.
I mean, I don't know. People really hated the robot, and it didn't really make any sense. I mean, she was a stroppy teenager, but look, he's giddy there, right? I don't know. I think it's really kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, well, the time before was the Aztec lady. I get that. Yeah. Again, as a one-off, I think as a one-off, I quite like it.
We get on really well.
Oh, she really wants to see you again.
I want to hang out with her.
Okay. So. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. There we go. It would have taken place right before Jackie tells them about the ghost making up this last moment between them before it all went wrong. Some Kleenex, it's crying time. Look, I remember my little girl. Yeah, oh my God, cried and cried when Rose left. It was like, oh man, she was not a happy girl. TARDIS by candlelight. Again, I like Capaldi era. I just didn't like the stories. 2 more seasons would have been perfect, right? Oh, 2 more seasons, he would have really nailed it down. A much smaller deleted moment now. One that was snipped from season 8 episode Listen, which is not a great story. I hate to tell you. This is a story all about atmosphere. The terror is like lurking under the bed, the horror of the unknown. I mean, that was really an ongoing thing, the horror under the bed, right? I was never scared of anything under the bed, right? So I couldn't really relate to it. But there was nothing under the bed. I was like, that's just stupid. The Doctor discovering the end of the universe isn't as lonely as you think. Douglas McKinnon did an excellent job on the directing duties, so it's a shame that one of the most visually interesting moments didn't make the cut. That is a shame. I mean, that's the thing with this era. It probably was we're going to watch it in a second. There's no dialogue aside from a quick listen from Peter Capaldi at the end. Just a steady pan around the TARDIS, illuminated entirely by candlelight. This is like, there's also some ominous music playing for good measure. This would have presumably occurred during early in the episode when the Doctor was presenting his thesis about the unseen creature. I mean, like, I think he got the idea of where it was going with it, but it was only, I think, it's season 10, right? That his last season, right, when he was lecturing at the beginning in the college. That's the only time it really worked, right? But yeah, it's a shame. But it would have been a banger of opening. Let's have a look at it. Doink. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. This is tragic. They cut it. I love it.
Listen.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Very good. Oh, I love a bit of Capaldi. But what could have been? We can't complain much. Listen to the brilliant episode. Not really. Sorry to tell you. Dress for Rio. The 11th Doctor's relationship with Amy Pond got off to an iffy start, to put it mildly. But he turned up when she was a child, promised her the world, and then flew off and abandoned her for over a decade. I think more like a decade and a half, isn't it? Then came back, whisked away, disrupting the wedding plan. Awkward. Okay. Oh, God, it's so annoying. Okay, Amy brings up some of these issues with the Doctor, and the lead to see from season 5 Hungry Earth. Oh, the bad piece of shit. She mentions her nerves about getting married to Rory, which has been exacerbated before her wedding, dragging on for months. She also complains about the cold, saying it was dressed for Rio, and the Doctor, and yes, the Doctor. This episode is set in Chile, Wales, which is about far away we can get from Rio. Let's have a look. Doink.
Where's Rory?
Didn't like me wearing my engagement ring with the group back.
We should go back for him.
Nah, he knows we're up here. He dawdles. He's always been a dawdler. And anyway, I wanted to ask. Me and Rory on the hillside. Picture us. That's good, right? That happens. We get a happy ever after.
As things stand in this time stream, time's not fixed, so things might change. I like him. A lot. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just a bit difficult controlling your nerves when the night before your wedding goes on for months. Especially when the cold's getting at your legs. Did I mention? Dress for Rio.
Yeah, look, that's the tragedy with all these cutscenes. They just add so much character, right? And you forget how much character there was. Man, did I like Matt Smith's Doctor? Did he nail it from the... Again, we're talking about this when we opened the show. Yeah, he totally nailed it right from the very first, I think. So yeah, and I like seeing it as an offcut, but like not realizing you should be giving the support to Amy that she's asking for. Joseph Slitzer, how you doing? Didn't Capaldi say? Didn't Peter say his knees were knackered? I could be. Oh man. 1 second. Fine. What's the next one? So yeah, that was a great little scene. The scene also sets up Amy in a relationship, indicating that Amy definitely does love her fiance. Yes, you kind of lack that a lot. That is true. Their relationship was on the ropes at this point due to Mrs. Pond's dalliances with her raggedy man. So this would have been a nice addition. Also, he likes Rory a lot. Massively important scene, but not worthwhile one nonetheless. Yeah, it is tragic, mate. What's this one? A fantastic introduction. When the I didn't like Christmas Invasion because he wasn't in it, basically. And then I didn't really like his take on the Doctor, frankly. I preferred Christopher Eccleston. I hate to be fickle. But like he felt too flippant. It took me about a year to get used to him. When the Doctor arrived in 2008, the Manchester lead was Christopher Eccleston, and he quit as soon as he could. The Manchester-born actor helmed the ship for just a single series, which is actually a really good way to start. I mean, if they thought about it, it was actually kind of clever. They're basically doing that now. I mean, David Tennant manned the TARDIS for the first 3 stories. When we're up to a single series, and the episode immediately followed Eccleston's farewell. Now, leading man David Tennant nearly paid tribute to his predecessor. Okay, then the latest scene from Christmas Invasion, David Tennant confronts the Sycorax and attempts to bust out his old fashioned fantastic. Only finally he can't get the words out. Doesn't fit the look. Let's have a look. Oh, so this is about 20 minutes long. I've got to find it.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, I was right there.
Fantastic. God, did you win the election? Landslide majority.
Oh, fantastic. No, hold on. I can't say anymore. It doesn't fit the teeth. Oh, I like that word. What am I going to say now? Brilliant? Brilliant. 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 No, excellent. Oh, that's excellent now. Superb. Marvellous. Molto bene. Oh, I don't know. Let's just settle for very, very good. Yes, that's very, very good. That's really very, very good. No, it's not taking off, is it?
If I might interrupt.
It's a shame they cut that as well. That was fun. That was a nice little scene. That was David Tennant being effortlessly charming. We got Cam Crash as is Matthew Pounder. Where are we up to? Doesn't fit the teeth, apparently. Tent tries out a bunch of so that has nothing to story. It would have been nice to fancy this direct bridge between the old and the new one. I really agree with it. Also, would have heard utterance of the Tent talks utterance of Molto Bene significance earlier. Oh, better 6. 6 and Perry. Colin Baker, Baker's 6th Doctor, is known for his vibrant Technicolor coat. For his very jiggly companion. And a brash personality. One thing he isn't known for is showing the occasional concern towards his companion. Well, listen, I would always cast a very, very concerned eye over Perry, and make sure, she was healthy. It was Perry who often drew the short stick. That's only in my fan fiction, baby. She's drawing the short stick. In terms of his behavior, matron. But the pair did have their moments of affection. One of which was cut from Vengeance on Barrow. So they kept all them like pissing each other, being pissing at each other. Here, Perry and the Doctor fly away from the titular planet, having survived the encounter with the sadistic society. Boy, I mean, they should come here. Despite both having nearly perished, they still find time for a few lasting experience. The Doctor checks to make sure Perry's okay. Okay, let's watch this scene, and then we'll see how things progress. I have a feeling. Things may get crazy. Doink.
The orthogonal readings haven't altered. Good. Splendid new elements and linings on the orbital transmission. Thanks to the Governor's generous supply of Zyton 7. Still, now that the whole of Varos knows it's more precious than gold, you can understand their generosity, I suppose.
Doctor, you're sure the TARDIS will function properly?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm just looking at her boobs, and I know it's like very, very low res, but man. Oh. I mean, they are really genuinely perfect boobs, I have to tell you. And I know I've really been looking.
Disappointed?
You think I'm crazy?
You're right.
Apart from the residual side effects of foul pest, you're fine.
As long as you stay away from millet and cuttlefish.
Well, okay. Finally, this one, I agree with their right. Is there any more? No. Okay, fine. That was even with the jiggly awesomeness that is Perry, that was somewhat disappointing. Now, something that is never somewhat disappointing, ladies and gentlemen. Something that people never go, oh, really? Oh, this is okay then. Is of course our next guest. Our next guest is a man of taste, refinement, discernment, and also some incriminating evidence that I happen to have, which is why he keeps coming on the channel. He raises us up with his royal presence because he is, of course, Birmingham's King of the Geeks, Dan Hadley. How are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, he keeps promising me he'll give me back the negatives, guys, but no show yet, I think.
No. You're not getting your kids back. They're in the cupboard.
Could be here for a while yet. Oh, well, extra Perry, extra Nicola. they are sensational. Even 37 years on, they just sit there, don't they?
Even what 320, whatever that is. Incredible.
ripe and full of promise at the summer or any time of year.
You do sound a bit like Mr. Kipling now, but okay.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah,
those Mr. Kipling ads always disturb me. Right, those Mr. Kipling always sounded a little bit paedophile-y, right? Thursday, wrote Mr. Kipling, found 2 scrumpers in the yard, gave them a good rogering in the rectory before making some apple pie.
Yes, I insisted on searching their rectums thoroughly that they hadn't stolen anything else.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I was going over this really quite interesting article on deleted scenes.
I saw.
So we're halfway through. How many of these have you heard of? Let's go back. So we had this one, this shit joke at the end of Vengeance on Varos, where you saw that. Yes. We had him trying to say fantastic in the Christmas Invasion Can't Do It. I didn't know about that one.
I don't remember that. I'd seen the Varos one before because anything to do with the mid 80s, I'm all over it like a rash. This I can't remember. The fantastic. I've probably seen it, but I can't remember it.
I didn't remember this one at all. There's a little bit where early Amy and Matt Smith were she was talking about Rory and being nice about him. That would have really have helped, I think. Really. No, this was beautiful. Here, I'll show you this. This was I didn't like the episode Listen that much, but this is an opening shot to it, which is stunning. Like, why haven't they been able to make good video games?
Yes.
That was great. I mean, I think that's kind of tragic they removed that, frankly.
Yeah, that is the Doctor. Personally, I know this flies in the face of accepted fan wisdom, but I prefer the 12th Doctor with the shorter cropped hair. I think he looked like he meant business. He looked like a right old buzzard. And
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I like the bouffant hair, right? I like that he developed.
Having said that, I think there's a good middle ground. I think that how he got it, where it was sort of halfway, was pretty good. Still hawkish, but
again, he needed 2 more seasons. He really needed 2 more seasons.
There was so much.
His last season should have stayed as last season, right? But probably 2 more in between, slotted in before that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think Moffat anticipated correctly what the end point for that version of the character was. But you're right. I think Capaldi had a lot of gas left in the tank, and that's why when I hear him, we hear him speak about Doctor Who only ever very fleetingly, don't we? And he chooses his words very, very carefully.
Yes, he does.
I think he knows he's got gas left in the tank as well. And oh god, it's tragic.
It really is tragic because I think he was just hitting his stride.
So do I.
I mean, I think we will go with the next season, but again, it's the cultural apocalypse that was 2018, right? I mean, it really was. It's like, man, that culture war hit, and we weren't prepared. Nobody saw that coming.
That scene there was no real dialogue as such, but that evoked so much of how Doctor Who used to feel that you think, no, I'm not imagining things. This show used to be shit hot.
Yeah. No, you felt like you're in season 14, right? The season 14. Yeah. So let's go look at this next one. This one I've seen before. Quite possibly one of the most famous deleted scenes in Doctor Who history now. The one which might have just had some ramifications in future stories. Before slinking away and leaving Rosa and the Meta-Crisis Doctor in Jonas End, there was originally a moment where the 10th Doctor gives the pair a chunk of TARDIS coral, telling them they can grow their own version of a time machine for their own adventures. Have you ever seen this?
Yes, I've seen this one. It's a cracker. I think they should have left this in.
Let me just whip this one out.
This should have stayed. That's what she said.
Yeah, it really should have stayed.
Big cut, this one from episode 13. It's like a whole minute long.
Oh, look how young he looks. Blimey.
Yeah.
Scene from the end on Bad Wolf Bay, the Doctor giving the second Doctor the chance to grow his own TARDIS. We argued over this, and part of me still wishes it was in. Julie was right, though. It was just getting in the way of. There's so many complicated endings and so many complicated emotions. It did just throw you in the middle when they suddenly start talking about a new TARDIS. So I like to imagine this still happened, though. So one day we'll come back and put this one back in. Okay.
Okay.
Showrunners cuts of key original RTD era episodes. That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Oh, and don't
I'm surprised they never did that.
forget this. This universe was in need of defending. Chunk of TARDIS. Grow your own. That takes thousands of years. No, because...
If you shatter-fry the plasmic shell and modify the dimensional stabilizer to a foldback harmonic of 36.3, you accelerate the growth power by 59.
We never thought that.
I'm doing brilliant.
The Doctor. In the TARDIS with Rose Tyler. Just as it should be.
What about you?
Oh, I'm fine. I've got Madam.
Human, the Time Lord brain. Perfect combination. We can travel the universe forever. Best friends. And equals. It's just what Skinny Boy needs. An equal.
You see, mate, this is another reason why they should have left that in. Because, and I have seen that before, but I think maybe I hadn't sort of processed it correctly, because I think I'd always... You know, there's a school of fandom that believes that Rose was a very callous and selfish character. And I've never subscribed to that. But in that moment, I remember watching that and thinking, well, surely Rose isn't just going to go off with this new guy just because he's got nice hair and he's a bit fresher. Surely she would worry about him. She would ask. So they should have left that in. I think Julie was wrong. They should have left that in.
Again, it was the season finale. They had juice they could put anything in. So this one I didn't know about. In the middle of the post-Donna solo travels, the Doctor turns up on Mars. Okay, so what's on Mars? Great story. I mean, I think this is really one of the all-time classics of the 10th Doctor's era. Right? I really like this story. It's one of the classics of the entire new series. Okay, I've just come out of the gym, so I'm eating a protein bar. All right, sorry.
It's my David Dimbleby moment. It's one of the classics of the entire new series of Doctor Who, in my view.
Yeah, because it really nails the horror. You get that very Robert Holmesian, Philip Hinch Holmes horror setting, right? You really feel this is. Is that you or me? I think it's you.
It was me. I've just turned it off.
I'm sorry, but yeah, you really feel this could have happened in. I would like to see an alternative reality. See, with AI, we'll be able to do it. Can you say, can you make me a Waters of Mars set in 1976, starring Tom Baker and with that production value and style, right? And it really would kind of work. I think you could use the same script, and it would be. Can you imagine that with Tom Baker? I would love to see that in with those production values. That'd be crazy.
Me too. The entire and the thing that at that time the tone of everything was largely so right. Practically every call they were making was right. And so when you hear about these things that they couldn't do or things that sort of fell at the final fence, I mean, maybe it's just it all sounds perfect to me. I would go with any of these things. I don't think it's just being at the tail end of quite an extended period, a fallow period. I think that this would still work.
It's not. It's like Star Trek Picard, right? Season 3, right? It's not just we haven't had a good Star Trek. Strange New World's not next gen Star Trek for decades. Like it's been it was actually good as well.
Yes.
It wasn't just it wasn't shit. It was actually good. So, however, in the particular deleted scene, you can actually hear them talk 8:30 in the video below. Okay, let's check that out. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Make sure my phone's on mute.
I'm sorry. Okay. What are we up to? I think this one. So 8:30 in, we got to go.
I mean, I'll admit, mate, that I'm not quite as I'm not quite as all in on Russell as I was 2 to 3 months ago.
Oh no! Look, every warning sign of this being a disaster piece of shit is screaming out as loudly as humanly possible. So look, okay. Here's a reason to be weirdly optimistic, though. All right, it's the Anheuser-Busch thing has had significant ramifications, right?
Yeah.
There was a boycott of Bud Light, and it didn't go away, right? Normally, conservatives, they don't really follow through. So then, so normally that's why they capitulate to like these crazy things. Firstly, because they run the board, right? They're all the employees. They're all the management now because of the DIE. So you get, let's say, you get underqualified people who have no idea what they're doing, so they hide behind diversity, right? So you get that's the first issue. But where was I going with that? Women, DIE. What were we talking about? I totally lost my train.
I was saying how I'm not quite as all in on Russell as I was.
Right. So thank you. So I'm not. So Target now, right? So Target just completely folded straight away when they were threatened with a similar boycott, right? So now we're at the point that Anheuser-Busch has lost 30% of their. It's lost about 28 billion. Target and Anheuser-Busch lost 32 billion combined in their stock value. Because so now you have it's a fiduciary. You can be sued by your shareholders for being overly woke, because it's the real thing now. Because that's why Target retreated instantly. And this Pride Month is going to be a real battleground. But the point is this: he may not have the latitude from Disney to have a large transgender cast. I know this is Disney's raison d'etre, but I think there's a chance their back may be broken by the time we get to transmission, but certainly by the time we get to next year. I think they're about to go down. Like, we're seeing things go down a lot, right? We just saw Network DVD go down, right?
I know. I'm still. Well, I'll be wearing black probably all month. For the rest of June.
Yeah. But it's like the
amount of money that I've spent with Network in the last year alone makes my eyes water. Really, I
am still going to keep them afloat, right? But like, that's the economic reality we're in. They may not have a legal option to endanger the company, right? By putting transgender, like, they may have to shoot Yasmin Finney's scenes, right? That might have, like, it might get that bad. I can see that happening. I really could.
Something is definitely changing, and I mean, it was you that drew my attention to the Bud Light thing. I'd never heard of what's it called, Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch. I'd never really heard of it. Didn't understand the setup, and I didn't know that Bud Light was the most drank beer in America. So the impact of this. I've been playing catch up on it all, but I think it has been a major battleground, fought and lost by the wokies, and it's almost as if, just as you said, other places. I think it's one of the big boys, one of the big guns has drawn a line that, okay, no more, that's enough of that. And so there'll be more and more. I mean, did you see, I know this is off on a little tangent, but did you see, for example, how Big Finish handled James Dreyfus on Twitter, and that controversy compared how they handled Trevor Baxendale on Twitter a few years later.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Confidently and with dignity and with loyalty to their associate, and they snuffed it out in an afternoon. And that's just Big Finish. I love Big Finish. You love Big Finish, but they're quite small fry internationally. So if they can do that, the bigger people certainly can. Of course, with Disney will be. I've always suspected Disney will be one of the last, simply because they've got so much bleeding money. Disney and the BBC for different reasons.
I think they are on a bubble, right? And I think that bubble is about to really burst for Disney. I hope so. They deserve it. They deserve it, right? I mean, but like Indiana Jones looks bad. Little Mermaid made as tank. Nothing they have put billions into has worked out. Has brought them back.
The Little Mermaid's tanked as well. The Little Mermaid's tanked as well. Has the Little Mermaid tanked as well? My girlfriend, that's who it was, just trying to phone me. She's just taken a little girl to see that, and they've gone out there to see that. And I haven't read any reviews, and I didn't know how well it was doing. But
it's, I don't know. It's how can I put this? Sex with your with such a person, right? If you have to go and see Little Mermaid, the sex better be awesome afterwards. I mean, it's like mind blowing.
Yeah, I think I've dodged a bullet with the because it was looking like I was going to have to go to that. Fast.
One of the two.
I love it. Go on, carry on.
Please tell her that. I'd love to know what the reaction is.
Go on, carry on.
Oh, yeah, fine. Let's see what else they have to say. I forgot what we're looking at.
A bit of dialogue with the Doctor and with the crew. And I just cut it because we would have treated the voice. And we made that clear. Poor Sharon Duncan Brewster is talking with water pouring from her mouth here. And had we kept this scene, we would have dubbed the voice on properly and made it sound all alien and spooky. So it would have sounded better than it does now. But in the end, I just thought the flood was more mysterious, not explaining who they are or why they are.
See, I disagree with him. I think that would have been much better. Let's have seen the scene.
And indeed, they don't explain very much in these speeches either. But it does explain why later on in the story, the Doctor knows the name of the enemy.
Has that dog got a hiding seal?
No, just basic.
Then the moment she heads for the door, we evacuate. Got that?
Pulse is low. Electrical activity in the brain seems to be going haywire.
Can she talk?
I don't know. She was talking before we noticed the change, but...
Maggie, can you hear me? Do you know who I am? Your commanding officer, Captain Adelaide Brooke. Can you tell me what happened? Margaret Kane, I demand a report. Tell me what happened to you.
Oh, yeah, I want to watch this later tonight. I'm really into it.
En shock man aan Warrelinch och for the bellen in Hurgwa.
What language is that?
Ancient North Martian.
Ridiculous.
It's like she recognized it.
Her eyes are different. They're clear.
Hang on a minute. Isn't that bloke there that we just saw? Isn't that the guy, Matt McCreevy, Philip Schofield's boyfriend?
No. I thought that
He's the guy everybody's looking for.
He needs to shave. It's not who Philip Schofield goes for.
No, the other bloke I meant.
I didn't know there's another one now. I'm sorry. Oh boy, not good news for him.
No.
Ancient North Martian.
Ridiculous.
It's like she recognized it.
Her eyes are different. They're clear. Like she's closer to human.
Oh, that one. Where was it? Yeah. There. Yes.
It looks just like him, Matt McCreevy.
She's closer to human.
Not close enough for me.
Where'd you get your water from?
The ice field. That's why we chose the crater. We're on top of an underground...
Hey, what's you going to bloody talk?
That's here.
Tons of water, marvellous.
But every single drop is filtered, it's screened, it's safe.
Looks like it, yeah.
If something was frozen down there, a viral life form held in the ice for all those years.
Look at her mouth. All blackened like there's some sort of fission. Well, think about it. The body's 60% water, but look at her. The water never stops. This thing, whatever it is, doesn't just hide in water. It creates water.
And the water will consume you.
She's absorbed the language.
So much water in your so solid shapes.
Well, I do like how they kind of they kind of make the lips kind of look ice watery.
Yeah.
It kind of like weirdly ties in.
I wondered about that at the time, but of course it didn't go anywhere then, did it? It was years before.
They didn't really need to really mention it, but they do tie it in nicely. Let's see what else she has to say.
Water. Always reaching to be free. You will drown in the flood. Everyone drowns.
The flood, is that you? Is that your consciousness? Tell me what you want.
She was looking at the screen, at Earth. She wanted Earth, a world full of water.
Captain, with me.
Scene 60 is a tiny...
All right, that's...
Nice. He's probably right about that, I suppose, but...
Probably, but you know what? You always want a bit more. So this episode didn't work for me at all.
No,
Doctor versus he was a giant wood lice or something. What was the deal? I guess it was like really disappointed with this.
Wasn't his daughter stuck in a room somewhere and she turned into wood? It was. I can see why they developed it. Let's put it that way. And I could see there was the makings of a decent sort of chiller and almost sort of Tales of the Unexpected style Doctor Who story there.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, at the end of the episode, I remember feeling really quite flat and unchilled by it. And it's surprising considering that David Suchet was in it because he's a class actor, always has been, always will be.
Right. I thought they would have had him be like a more major character, right?
Yeah.
So this was his. So he wasn't totally. He was just sacrificing innocent students to feed the alien creature, keeping his daughter alive. Right. So, fine. So the Capaldi has that's weird. They cut out a confrontation with Capaldi over. I don't know. 1 second.
And that's surprising as well because they're contemporaries, aren't they? Capaldi and Suchet, actors of a similar weight. I suppose Suchet is probably about 15, 20 years older than Capaldi, but they've got that kind of gravitas to each of them. It would have been a good confrontation.
Well, yes, I agree with you completely there, Joseph Lip. Say, virus mimicking the Ice Warrior's facial features would make sense on the evolutionary scale. Yeah. That's exactly what sort of thing I was thinking of. There, let's see what this is. We got 2 more after this.
Can you help her?
Tell me what happened.
It was just before the war. Eliza was dying. Nothing could be done until these creatures saved her. At first, it was a miracle.
And then they needed food.
20 years later, the creatures grew dormant. Eliza was fading again. Then a vagrant broke into the house, fell asleep, and the lice absorbed him. I was horrified, but Eliza grew strong.
Okay, this scene would have been so necessary, right? I now understand what was going on with him.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
And I realized what I had to do. It is regrettable, but nobody really misses the students. They're simply assumed to have run away.
And you think your daughter is more important than all of them?
Yes, of course. At this moment, you're concerned about your granddaughter, and you would do whatever it took to keep the person you love from death, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
Then you understand why I must take this course of action.
Oh, I do. I would tear the sky apart. I would reduce the solar system to the tiniest cinder for anyone I loved. But if I was about to do that, if I got to that point of desperation, then I would have one hope, one desire.
Yes.
That someone would stop me.
Yeah, man. More Capaldi. That's really the go-to, right? Yeah.
Do you think the part of the reason they cut that as well is because we seldom hear the Doctor talk about love and himself quite as closely as that?
Yeah.
That he loves people, because generally speaking, he doesn't really ever admit to that, does he? You care for them. You care for them very much. We get that kind of thing, and maybe a nod at the most.
Right. I don't know, I'm just trying to see. Yeah. So they're saying it's weird they didn't add it. The scene doesn't appear to fit into the episode's conclusion, so that's potentially why it was cut. Change the conclusion to keep this then.
Yeah, re-edit the damn thing and put this in, you stupid.
Yeah, that would have made it much better. Okay, what's going on here? They're the Doctor. You can't handle the call. One of the highlights of Dare the Doctor was the back and forth between the different. Well, that's always Matt Smith's 11th Doctor, David, blah blah blah, bickered, and guess what? We were almost granted another thing. In one deleted scene, the trio of Time Lords changed into by the Royal Guards, 10, 11, arguing all the while. So look. Okay.
Yes, I've seen this.
The cool. You wouldn't understand the cool. You couldn't handle the cool.
Not since Richmond. They haven't drawn breath since Richmond.
Oh, blimey, that was it. Don't blink, mate.
Fabulous. Oh, John Hurt.
You don't. I was just talking about the latest War Doctor box set from Big Finish, and the problem with it is this: script editing. The script editing is very weak, right? It's the script writing is good, right? The stories are good, the dialogue is good, but there's no, the person overseeing it just doesn't pull it together. You can tell this by a lot of things, like the title of the box set, Comrades at Arms, is just generic and throw away. The new second Doctor box set is called James Robert McCrimmon. That's very specific, and it gives you a promise, or you have an idea what you're getting with that. Comrades at Arms, very throwaway. So this is all about this like Dalek-y woman hybrid thing that's basically his companion for the this box set. However, he's more her companion. The dramatic arcs of the story go around this woman rather around the Doctor. He's more on peripheral. These very good though. But the problem is this: because it's Big Finish, because it's 2023, they cannot have a masculine role played by a man. They have to, like, on Big Finish, if you're a general, you're a captain, you're a president, if you're any form of authority, you have to be played by a woman. I can't remember the last time there was a masculine role played by a man, right? That wasn't the Doctor.
An authority of some kind, or somebody.
And it's just ridiculous. So they got this actress, and she's playing all macho, and she's playing against herself, right? So she was in it a previous box set. She was introduced, but this one she's got some really heavy emotional weight to pull. Plus, she's the center of the story, whether he isn't, right? And she just can't really cut it. Right, she doesn't really have the chops to pull this off, right? And you know, it's the reason they're doing it is because I can't tell. She might be black, right? But she's a woman. Like enough with it. Just like, okay, can we go back to having men as well? I mean, that would be nice.
It's relentless, isn't it? Absolutely relentless. And when you realise how much in Big Finish's case, how much they record in advance, you think this is going to be a hangover for the next 2 to 3 years.
It is. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. By the way, you know that bloke I was going backwards and forwards with, the Stephen whatever.
The man I call the crying man. Yes.
Yeah. So I finally then somebody says this thing. He was talking about me on Twitter. So I respond to it. But then I look at his timeline and I feel like such a schmuck. You know, he's on his timeline. He spends his days like screaming at like people randomly, like John Cleese or anybody, right? And you can see he always thinks he's got like mic drops, and he just like, I'm like the village idiot. Like now I looked at his feed, I was like, why was I bothered?
So that's his whole that's his whole MO, to go in, shout his piece, stamp his feet, drop the mic, and F off. That's what he does.
All right, but
I've never come across the man before. I mean, I thought probably as you thought, and if you are, it's Steve, isn't it? If you are out there, mate, please don't take offence at this, because there's no stigma. You shouldn't be ashamed of the fact. But I thought Steve seemed like a man who was very, very ill, and
I won't say very ill. I'll say, like, in 2023, averagely ill.
Yeah, not a well man, and which I have every sympathy. But yeah, like, if that is the case, though, the last thing you really want to be doing is trawling Twitter, picking fights with the John Cleese's of this world, who are just.
It's just weird. It's just, I mean, I look at it and go, oh, that will make sense. it's like everything changes. It's like looking for he's a 12-year-old in his bedroom, but he's not in that case. So anyway, what's this one? Taking place in the series finale, the Cybermen have assumed control. The Doctor responds to the Cyberman's request for information with a rather bleak sentiment. Run! There's nothing else I can do, he tells the foe. In a few hours' time, this planet will be a ball of flame. All we can watch it do is watch it burn. Taking all in, the Cyberman responds with a pretty sick burn. You are proof that emotion destroys you. And it's unusually the Doctor, so down is like, oh, okay, fine, so we can find this clip. Doing. And number one here, does it give me a timestamp? Because this is about 20 minutes long, right? Doesn't. I think we just go.
I've just realised as well how much I miss keyboards in sci-fi. Everything is now hologrammatic, isn't it? People touching mid-air.
Yeah, I hate all this. Yeah, start with this already.
It was great in Minority Report 20 years ago. Now I'm sort of over it.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's just like, I know you're saving money. Leave me alone. Here we go. So look.
You will impart information about the Daleks.
You want advice? Come here. I'll give you my advice. I've got a machine downstairs. It's called a TARDIS. And you and me, just you and me, we can get into the TARDIS and fly away. Go to the other side of the universe and escape. Because there's nothing else I can do. For the first time in my life. Nothing.
I think they're right to cut this. A bit of a downer.
In a few hours' time, this planet will be a ball of flame. All we can do is run away and watch it burn.
You are proof.
Of what?
That emotions destroy you.
I forgot how chilling their faces were. I do like those segments. Well, there you go. That was quite a fun little article. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.